baby doll that I can make you smile. No nectar sweeter, sweetie. I'll drive you wild. My heart is pure as lace and laced with purest pearl. My pearls are wildflowers begging for your eyes. My lips are poison and waiting to collide. Come play with me, darling. You'll be surprised. It's a weary place. We are.
Alrighty, finally getting in and doing Hildibrand. Mostly didn't do it the first one because it's so short. I mean, they're long but short at the same time. They're not long enough to do one stream. So two, maybe I can do it 2 hours. And if I have some time, get into the North Horn and do some collecting of dispellers. I have enough. Alpha dispellers. I need more gamma and beta dispellers. And I can finish that part of the thingamaboob. Let us finish Hildibrand, Dawntrail. Hard-boiled cast of resolute shadow behind the unrelenting glare of true Ver's neon illumination. Drac'to, I was hoping you'd drop by. It took a bit of doing, but I was able to wind the crack. I made in that storage device and yanked out a couple of new strips of data. First file. One moment, I just spill a bunch of my soda. That took a lot longer to clean than I thought. I had to go grab my old mouse pad. They got an annoying talent of mimicking shapes and faces, which is exactly what Carmelian took advantage of. When he tricked us with his fake Kamikai. Never fear! Inspector Hildibrand is here! The other file I pulled had details on yet another monster-ified criminal. Monster-ified criminal. His mook was nabbed from repeated vehicle violations, riding his air wheelers too fast, making reckless maneuvers, endangering others, the sort of thing according to data. He ran around in a body of a cactar now. He's running around in the body of cactar now. Judging by what we've seen of the researcher's scheme, he'll dispatch the prickly speed demon somewhere outside the dorm. No, but where? Rejoice, my good detective. I, Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, may come, bearing the very direction you seek. I have it straight from the mouth of the real Kamaka, with an ambulatory cactus piloting a flying contraption that was supposedly observed streaking through a sky on the southern bearing. Alas, despite hastening to confirm this sighting, our intrepid sheriff arrived too late to see the needle-covered individual in question. The report was summarily dismissed as fanciful imaginings of inebriated townsfolk. The incessant chirping of veteran instincts nevertheless impelled me to investigate. Thus did my faithful servant and I venture forth out to question the colorful crowd of Tuliolo. Yes, there to find sober witnesses eager to tell of an airborne succulent. They say it was moving at an incredible pace, sat astray, a vehicle like the ones the mechanical invaders had ridden. It was last seen zipping past the dirigible before vanishing into the clouds to the south. Alexandrian soldiers riding on airwheelers. So, unless there is another flying cactar out there somewhere, I think we have our man. Good work. Almost too good, in fact. Over there! Is that a new case I spy? Hardly had it to bait the hook. They're the real deal, all right. Although, come to think of it, I don't know why anyone would bother impersonating either of them to begin with. At least the lead seems solid enough, but if we are serious about catching this guy, we'll need a A-rail of our own. Come on, there's a shop nearby that does custom work. I feel a need for speed. This is the place. This is the place. I used to be a regular here, but I ain't been back in a while. Let's see if they still remember me. Well, look who the wind blew in. Come on. See for my... I come for my steed. That battered old scrap heap, it's been rusting on my garage floor so long I doubt it could manage a slow trot, let alone a gallop. Happy to give it a tune-up if you've credit to burn, but I'll need you to supply me parts. A new high voltage battery and a superconductor coil at the minimum. The chronometer ticks like a scene. I'll see if I can get my hands on the battery, but can I ask you to track down the coil? The soft coil. Go. Wouldn't know a suspended spring from an anti-gravity gibble. But you, I can trust to find the right part without cracking under pressure. You got my number, do you? Just telling like it is. I know a tough egg when I see one. Hard-boiled seem desperate to get his air wheels up and running, so I'll give ye a tip. You want to coil quick like and salvage the rides of the defective sentries, and ye best bet. I'm become more of a sudden pirate now. I've even lent ye this handy gadget to help ye out. Set off the distress beacon on the western side of old Alexandros, and you'll soon have some murderous mechanical company to dismantle for parts. Well, I'll take these two along with me on the battery hunt. Good luck out there. Well, get your hands on a coil. Yeah, that should do the trick. Now where did you mate run off to? Can't be that hard to find a store what sells batteries. Yet probably head over. He should probably head over to Nexus Arcane and see what's keeping them. Drac'to. Any trouble picking up the coil? Nothing you can handle, I wager. As for the battery, I bought one easy enough. The problem was convincing the inspector and his gal to stick around after he caught a whiff. Tantalizing familiarity. Long story short, they've wandered off and haven't come back. Suppose we ought to go looking for him. Is that a corpse? A smiling corpse? Ha ha ha! Do not fret, detective. This dapper zombie is an old acquaintance of mine. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a proud member of the Gentle Dead Men, a disciplined, a disciple of Master Hildibrand. I have been on the road seeking out new recruits for our merry Molderling band. That search is what brought me here, and into the midst of this unexpected yet most welcoming reunion. I don't usually hold with necromancy, but he seems harmless enough. So, if you've done catching up, we've got a case to work on. In actuality, our conversation was almost entirely case adjacent. Employing his nose for fettering fellows, the gentle zombie traced me to the stench of necromantic decay, to the very facility in which I once slumbered. Yes, I became fast friends with one of the reanimated researchers there. During the process of getting to know each other, he spoke briefly for the only person living after the incident. According to my most current chum, all the lab workers perished when an accident resulted in the leakage of a highly toxic substance. All that is save for a single man who had habitually wore a protective gas mask. Gas mask. Keshketi is his name. He was second in command after the overseer himself, yet disdained by his peers as a transcendent know-it-all. They did, however, grudgingly recognize his passion for his work. Even after devoting a full day to official experiment, he would pour his remaining time and energy into some mysterious side project. And he was the sole surviving researcher, you say? Sounds like a familiar. Sounds like we finally have a name of our mastermind. Contrary. Consider courtesy of a shambling undead, no less. No matter how many years I do this job, well, thanks for that. Glad to be of service. Now, if you'll excuse me, my new recruits and I have a cafe tour to plan. So that fellow was a honest-to-God walking corpse. I've met weird folks in my line of work, but do you always keep company with such oddballs? That was out of line. It's just I recommend that there are forces in this. I reckon there are forces in this world you've better off not messing with. Anyways, let me take this part back to Momon, and get my wheels repaired. Shouldn't take too long. I'll ride him back here to make sure he's riding smooth, and you can see the majestic beast in all his glory. Detective Hardboiled seems somewhat nervous. Exciting to reclaim his pride and joy, perhaps? Nice. Huh. Would you look at that? What do you think, Drac'to? I named him Night Stallion. He's a custom job built for yours truly, and has far too much horsepower for an average mook to handle. Anti-gravity capabilities are standard, but when it comes to ground speed, he's been tweaked to achieve the highest possible performance. The trick is to install quick heating mortar coils. But wouldn't the increased heat compromise the magnetic field integrity, you ask? Well, that's a valid concern. A hotter drivetrain responds completely differently when you open up the thrust stand. You get those filthy hands off my rod. I've merely thought to enhance your beloved steel with a touch of Salamanderville. So you had this amazing machine this whole time? Why haven't you been riding it around till now? Fresh-faced and innocent, the spitting image of my assistant. I never forget the day I hung up my spurs. It was right after I caught Carnelian. Been shimmering in thought of vengeance. Fit the burst of shell at any moment. Akira side!
The big house is too good for the likes of the king, the crime king. See you in hell, your magic. Should have pulled the trigger when you had the chance. You're going soft, hard-boiled.
The flashback exceeds the lethal length. The flashback exceeds the legal length. Laced with illicit embellishments. Laced with illicit embellishments, no doubt. Stick to the facts. Stick to the facts. To cut to the chase, my assistant was avenged. Slinging the crime king into the slammer took me off the boil. And riding code just ain't my style. But now that a carnelian is on the street, it's time for me to get back on the saddle. They're saying that the cactus punk flew over Thule whatever. Then blew past the dirigible on the way south, right? What kind of territory are we looking at? Lots of big trees are there. And let's make it to Yoctiel's dirigible landing. Our starting point. I'll take Night Stallion and meet you there. That's on you, Hildibrand. You don't touch a man's ride. Right. We shall find our way to the cocktail dirigible landing. See you there. I'm pretty sure it's Yoxtail. Yoxtail, Inspector? No, 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 no. Trying to save some money. Some deal.
Ah, you made it. Even the jaded old gumshoe had to appreciate the view coming in over the forest tops. Anyways, I talked to the locals while waiting for you lot to arrive, and one fella had seen Mr. Cacta flying down to the lower forest. I'm told the biggest place out the way is the Selim in Mamook. So, that'll be our next destination. Let's head over there, walk the streets, ask some questions. You know the usual.
Very well, detective. But there's become of your wondrous wheels.
Nightsteed would draw more attention than I'd like. I use the autopilot function to call. I'll use the autopilot function to call him if I need him. But otherwise, I'll make do with my own 2 feet.
He's so hard-boiled.
Must be the Mamook. The buildings, the things different down here, huh? But we ain't got time to admire the architecture. Spread out and find someone who's clapped eyes on the cactus.
Why, yes, I did see an unusual creature riding a strange vehicle through the forest on a breakneck speed. The vehicle's terrible sounds is what first drew me. My attention, followed by the incomprehensible yell of its pilot. Yet the sight of the preposterous man plant was so absurd I found myself more bemused than frightened. Yes, I've encountered. It's a tutor check. Yes, I've encountered the fiend you describe. The forest has its share of fantastical creatures, but this one was undeniably out of place. I observed it smash one of the giant meteorites with a club, then ride away with a broken piece, made of what you will.
as you say. Ah, the subject of recent gossip. I crossed paths with the creature myself, and it was indeed odd. But the machine it rode upon was the true wonder. He pulled up alongside me and my wyver, challenged us to a race, then zoomed off with astonishing swiftness. If you had planned to catch their feet, you'll need an equally marvelous mount.
I do. This hardy Daytona is actually very fast. In fact, it's so fast that I don't need a mount speed increase. It's as fast as a mount speed increase. And if I get mount speed increase, it doesn't, increase my mount speed.
What's the rap?
The testimony I gather were very much the same. There's a cactar racing around out there, and that much can be certain.
But if he's making stops to grab meteorite fragments, then that ain't no simple joyride. Talk to me, Drac'to. Some things about these rocks I ought to know. Some kind of special erratic radiation, eh? We ain't pieced together Keskia's big plan yet, but he seems really interested in these space rocks, stones even. Which means we've got a good chance of finding this spiky goon by stalking out the spots where the meteorite are. If we nab the cactar, we can make him lead us to the researcher and to Carnelian. When I say us, I mean me and the Night Stallion, of course. Once we find him, the rest of you won't be giving chase without a air wheel.
I need not. I need no such events. The legs have been conditioned by an intense chocobo breeding exercise regiment. Bearing, even. He is actually very fast. Superhumanly fast, some would say.
Well, lucky for him, still think he's a weak-willed punk. But I can't deny his uncanny body of his is making sterner stuff. Let's get on with it. And I heard there was a few good-sized meteorites alongside the road that leads out of town. Let's start with the near end and hope the mook puts in an appearance.
Sorry to look up something real quickly. Hide this. Sorry about that. I was watching something my friends were doing.
No, we are white and cacta around here. Let's move on. Huh, idiot. The idiot Spectre took off like he had the case all sewn up, but running fast doesn't make him find him any leads, did it? And here I thought he was onto something. That way, Nashu, I think I may be onto something.
I have to get rid of one of my things and add something else that I want to add here. Might get rid of that. I should. I'm not really going to use it. Yes. There we go. Can I put my vehicles in here? I can. Do I not have that ship here? Yeah, I have my gay horse. Look! It's the gay horse! Oh, it has custom music. Holy shit! Well, not custom music. It's the music for, It's the music for, the Fey World thingy-maboob. Huh. It's not generic music. It could endure but a little longer, Nashu. It's almost time to eat. No sign of him. No sign of him here either. On the next meteorite. I detect a hint of criminality in that direction. Onward, Nashu. We needn't let the detective beat us to the punch. Look out and stand aside, or the million needles in your hide make way for the unmatched, uncatchable Spike! Spike. This one looks ripe for the smashing. Hold it right there. I'm gonna need you to hop off that air wheeler. And you must be the blowhard I was warned about. Think you can give an order to a succulent speedster? That ride is maxed out with the black market mods, and there ain't no one faster. Keep up if you can, slowpokes. Why are you throwing away your Kanabo? That's the way it gotta be. Challenge accepted. To me, the Night Stallion, it's time to burn rubber. There he goes! Right behind you! Right behind you, Inspector. Yeah, these weirdos. Right.
Yeah. Damn, the stallions are full gallop and I'm still trailing.
It seems you acquire my senses after all.
What the? You caught up to me on foot? Change of plans. Where was my peloton?
I just tweaked the weapon's elemental settings like so. And with a sheer me and providing the thrust, the fiend will soon learn a harsh lesson. Nothing outguns a fired-up Mandeville man.
Ain't no way gaining on me. Come on now. I feel the needle for speed.
We did it! Victory is ours! Ah, man, I forgot to turn off my blocker.
I can't believe it. My undefeated record, my legendary win streak is over. And yet I feel strangely content. Enough, you win. Just hand me over to the coppers and be done with it. Still, man. So the researchers forced you to work for him, like he did with the other fiends. That's right, that's right. Take me to the slapman and grab the meteorite from the forest, but not for what he wanted him for. All the way to nab some delinquent coon and known lead for on Keshkaki, or Kamalion to show for it. Not to mention my beautiful ride getting trashed. That one's on you, Hildibrand.
Perhaps we can take a riding together next time.
Oh, if you're looking for Kia, I know exactly where he'd be. Waiting for me for my meteorite delivery order for by the cliff southwest of here. Why don't you say that sooner? I bet Carmelian is there with him. He won't escape me this time. I leave this criminal character in your custody, Fiend. In this appearance aside, 'tis a man's soul within. So please treat him accordingly. Now let us follow the detective to this cliffside, shall we? I must ensure these villains are served as gentlemen's justice. I can hear them just up ahead. Let me get the drop on them before we all go barging in. I think this is a lady. I'll eat crow if not. He's late. We must assume something went wrong. These meteorites will provide the perfect energy source, and I would prefer to harvest a surplus, but it is too great a risk to linger here. Freeze mage. Freeze mage. You so much as twitch your lips will light up. I'll light you up. No, I work too hard to give up now. He's getting away.
Oh, it's a he.
I'll keep. I've got one I want. But don't think I'll take you in just so you can escape again. Never again.
Murder is not the answer, detective. Where's Chameleon?
You almost had me if not for this bumbling fool you tolerate. Soft as ever. You and I are done, Hildibrand. Stay out of my way.
My recent inadequacies as an inspector appears to have earned the detective's ire. 'Twas you he turned to for assistance with his case, Drac'to. It is only fitting that you remain at his side for the duration. Meanwhile, Nasher and I shall persist with our independent inquiry. Sorry for the sudden exit back there, but that yolk for brains had me steaming. Hildibrand only wants to help.
That's the problem. His help ain't nothing but a hindrance.
For the love of I see you're skulking over there, soft-boiled. Isn't this a delightful spot of serendipity? We were simply following the villain's trail, and look here, how we all ran into each other, completely by chance. We were only passing through after all. We shall apprehend the masked mastermind with our own try and true methodology. We shall see. You shall see.
Drac'to, I want you on the case with me from now on out. When it comes to the proper guidance beyond the dome, as well as being tougher than you truly. No one else fits the bill. You might need to cool your heels for a bit while I work on salvaging more data. But hard-boiled always gets his files in the end. See you around.
At long last, my scheme is coming to fruition. No longer must I endure the company of incompetent colleagues. All is in readiness. The replication of my brilliant mind is at hand. Never again will I be known as the Kolikokian Corpus second best. My name shall ring across the land, carrying far and wide by an army of unrivaled geniuses. Something amusing? Oh, just the fact that you repaired a device capable of miracles, yet you plan for it is very banal. You dare mock me? What a bore he was, now to realize a dream worthy of this miraculous technology. Detective Hardboiled, they call me. Cool and tough as a cucumber wrapped in old leather. I'm a man who prefers his own company. Today's egg was overdone. I let the water. I put the pot boil and a match to my mood.
They say you can't make a cracked shell whole again. Maybe they're right.
Cool. There are some troubling thoughts. Can anyone save Detective Harbour from himself? I bet the inspector can. With us on the case, a happy end is never far away. Hard-boiled, pensive expression cuts a stark contrast to the fanatic buzz of true Val's neon light marching.
Drac'to, eager to go back to work, I see. I reconstructed what remained, the remaining files, but found no more record of monster-fied criminals. So I reckon we've cleared on that front. What the last of the data does contain, though, was plans of repairing some kind of fancy duplication device. Said it was a discovery aboard a flying vessel of unknown origin. The description of this damn near perfectly matches the shiny disc our imbecilic inspector crash-landed over near Ubiyawata. So now I'm wondering what a gadget on a ship like that used to duplicate. Anything, even people? Oh, that isn't good. See, the files mention 3 critical material: ceruleum, and meteorite. Sound familiar? That's the same stuff our fugitive already nicked. They got what they needed to fix the device, and I'm sweating bullets imagining what they mean to do with it. Problem is, we've squeezed those savage files dry for every last juicy lead. Can't even begin to guess what Keshki and Carmelian might be holed up. After all we know, we've already moved on to the next steps of our diabolical scheme. It's time we pumped a new source of information, and I know just a noisy bugger I'll do. Let's pay a visit to Maimon.
Oh, now she looks cute. You look like an idiot. You must recall my mere presence seems to anger the detective that at last our path crossed. So we've taken to disguise ourselves as ordinary citizens. Our independent investigation otherwise continues unabated. Mashu has, in fact, identified a potential avenue of inquiry. I've noticed that there is an oblong that never strays far from Detective Harbour's side, and I suspect this persistent insect is much more than it appears. I share your suspicion. I share your suspicion. We could be dealing with another creature possessed of a transferred criminal soul. Mayhap it be he sent to spy on the detective. Maybe. It doesn't seem like spying, more like it's watching over him. Whatever is the Lop's intention, we must continue to unveil this whatever present surveyor. It may prove critical to cracking the case. Back again. What could I do for you this time? Got an odd question for you. A device that can duplicate anything, eh? In the wrong hands, that could lead to all kinds of mischief. I haven't heard a peep about alien gadgets, but there was something else that might interest you. Rumor has it a half-dead bloke dressed like a lab worker was rescued out in Heritage Found. You reckon that could be our villain, Kia? Could be. You'll have to talk to Serini, the hunter who found the poor beggar. Apparently he brought him back to his home in the outskirts. If that dead lab rat is who we think it is, then I wonder if Alien must have had, Thanks for the tip, my man. Well, partner, looks like we've headed to the outskirts. Let's find this Circene. And we shall follow wheresoever the Golub leads us. Last I heard, the lab worker was still laying on Circean's house at the outskirts. Oh, and you did know the detective's older twin is stalking you, right? If he's trying to stay out of sight, he's doing a terrible job. Circean. Saying. Circine.
Oh, of course. I'll be happy to share the tale. I was culling monsters on the fringe of Everkeep when a airwheel wobbling through the sky above caught my attention. And so erratic it was its flying path that I half expected it to crash into the ground, which it did not far from where I was standing. I ran over to see a man crawl free from the wreckage and collapse, his mask and gloves marking him as a lab technician of some kind. Though the airwheeler hadn't exploded or burst into flames, he looked terribly burnt. I was able to rush him home and administer treatment before he succumbed to his injuries, but the potent medicine that put him in the deep slumber, as I'm afraid he is no state to answer questions. As for his name, I found an identification card tucked into one of his pockets. Assume it belongs to him, as the man is Kashkari, a researcher of a local facility. That figures, and those burns. Knowing Carmelian's preference for fire magics, I wager a dozen boiled hard eggs that he is to blame. A mook dubbed the Crime King is not the type to play a local henchman for long. Probably turned on his boss and took over the whole organization. We'll have to wait till Keshkiwa wakes up and get the whole story. But in the meantime, I'd rather do something useful. I say we head outside and consider our options. Appreciate you sharing. Sir Stein? Keshkia is a criminal involved in a case we're investigating, so we'll be imposing on your hospitality again soon. A criminal, you say? Well, he won't be committing any crimes in his condition. I'll be sure to get word to you once he is fit enough for you to interrogate. I figured the man had his secrets, but didn't expect him to be a hardened criminal. In any case, I let the detective know as soon as this Kesh K awakens. I doubt Carnelian would have humored his boss for so long unless he had an endgame in mind. And considering his betrayal came just as it required everything needed to fix the duplication gadget, it was probably after the device all along. Why is he getting shocked? Oh, there they are. And that's what I'm thinking. But assuming we're... That's what I'm thinking. But assuming we're right, what does he mean to use it for? Well, we can work on answering that question while Keshki is still in Dreamland. There's an old pal of Carnelian who's might have an insight or two. Was part of his gang back in the day, but insists she's on the straight and narrow. Now, working as a fortune teller out of a store in Pollution 9. Sarah La, the girl on the front desk, handles all her appointments. Quickly! Let us not lose sight of the Oglop. The establishment caters to lost souls seeking their true path. Due to the high demand, however, I am afraid we're completely booked for the coming months. We're not interested in your dubia. As divinings, we just tell old Thea that hard-boiled is here to see her. Very well, one moment, please. What do you want, hardhead? I pay my debts to society. You're interfering with a legitimate business for an upstanding citizen. There's a lady who is Carmelian's most prized sorcerer. Sorceress charlatan. Which is the only fortune to be found here is the one you've made off gullible marks. Don't you dare lump me with that double-crossing snake. It was his fault. I went to prison, and I've been done with the underworld ever since. My establishment is entirely above board. Right, alright. Don't get your robes in a twist. It's Carmelian. I want to ask you about anyways. Anyhow, I spare you the whole messy story. Let's get it down to the brass tacks. Imagine there's a gizmo that can duplicate any person or object in the world. What do you reckon a good, no criminal like Carmelian would do if he got his hands on something like that? What kind of addle-brained... How should I know? The only thing Carmelian would want was power. And no matter how much he got, it was never enough. Seeing his ancestor, the one you called the Lich, create the ultimate spell and it eats him alive, eats him up that he's never had the arcane strength to cast it. An ancestral spell he hasn't gotten the juice for, huh? But how would a duplication gizmo help him with that? Not my area of expertise, though I suppose you can search the public database and read up on the Lich, if you're so inclined. Fair enough. We'll try our best with the terminal in the Mercer area. Much obliged, Karia. These terminals are connected to Alexandria's public database, so you can use them to learn all sorts of neat stuff. I see what I can dig up on the Lich character. Meanwhile, reckon you could look into the making of clocks so special. Keshkia's other flunkies don't get a choice of a monster, but when it comes to Carmelian, seems a crime king specifically requested the clock as a vessel for his soul. I figured he was keen on their power of mimicry, but now I wonder if there was something more. Anyways, see what you can find.
because I didn't capitalize the C. It's because I didn't capitalize the C. Terminal monitor display on entry on the monster known as Clots. Clots, the ambient organism inhabiting dense jungle environments that demonstrate an extraordinary capability of physical mimicry. When threatened, the clot will either mimic the threatened itself or adopt a more intimidating form. Clots can also infuse with others of their species, and there are record cases of multiple clots merging into a single gigantic entity possessing immense magical power. Oh, he's gonna duplicate a bunch of clots, absorb them, become strong enough to cast the Armageddon spell. Well, no surprise of the bloodline that produced a maniac like Chameleon. Turns out the Lich guy is a real piece of work. The entry I read says he was using sorcery to raise and bind the dead to his will, and created an unstoppable spell that would immediately snuff out the life of any target. Oh, and that he also used necromancy to turn himself into a living corpse. This allowed him to keep amassing dark power over a period far beyond a normal person's lifespan, which was the thing that earned him the Lich moniker. Not too many years of nefarious undeading, though, and the people came together to off him permanently. You know, Noirshu, my assistant, was killed by a spell I'd never seen before, and I reckon Carmelian took a page from his ancestors' book of necromancy to animate those poor bastards at the Kanakoka Corpus. How did your research go, by the way? You learn anything useful? Multiple clots can merge together and make one ginormous blob that wields all their magics combined. That explains everything. Carmelian means to create a bunch of crime king copies, then fuse into one being, one big murderous mook. Well, you and me are gonna wreck those plans and avenge Narshu's death, once and for all. The inspector might be able to help with that. Yeah, I've seen him hanging around like a bad smell, but when it comes to exacting vengeance, that well-meaning doofly Dudley only gets in the way. And besides, Carmelian is more dangerous than he's ever been. I won't give him the chance to harm anyone else. Why are you bullheaded about me being pals with the inspector anyways? You share the same soul. You say we're like two of a kind. Yeah, I can see it. I don't see it. Still, there's always been something weirdly familiar about that guy. Yeah, what you got? Alright, be there soon. That was Sir Stein telling us to come over. Kashkia's awakened. There it goes. I've been thinking, Drac'to, what if the oblong was keep seeking is actually Narshu? That's what I've been thinking too, honestly. When the detective was talking about his assistant, I swear the insect had the saddest look in its little face. Come now, Narshu. You heard as well as I did that she perished by Carmeleon's hand. But what if instead of dying, her soul was shuddered into an oblong body in the same way fugitive was stuffed into a fiendish forms? I suppose it's possible. Narshu does have an uncanny sense for these such things. Mayhap we shall not dismiss the idea out of hand. Where to explore the possibility, we must begin by chatting with the researcher zombie amongst my gentle dead men acquaintance befriended. Pray continue investigation alongside Detective Hardboiled, and we shall contact the moment we learned aught of substance. Hello, Chief. What get lost in the way, eh, or what? The case is promising an explosive end, and I hate for you to miss it. Harbo's eyes are alight with anticipation, nose full of scent of his quarry. Right, let's head inside and hear what Keshkia has to say for himself. Well, Mastermind, what happened to you? The duplication device was restored.
I had all the I had all I had all that I acquired to build my genius army. But mere moments before I began to duplicate my brilliant self and amass, that damned cub burned the hand that freed him. Seared as I was by a Carmelian sorcerer, it was a miracle I managed to escape at all. But my ambition ought to survive but smoke and ash. I want you to make him pay. You'll find the device in a hidden lab on the lowest level of Corpus. A chameleon aims in mass replication, self-replication. Then that is where he might be. It will take time for the alien technology to do its work. Trying to tame a vicious beast. Trying to tame a vicious breed. You're like the crime king was to gamble, and you lost. But lucky for you, I was planning to bring him down anyways. Looks like I called how things played out, more or less. Don't twig that Carmelian would hold up in the lab right beneath our nose, though. Hand this sorry sod over to the authorities as soon as he's able to walk. Might put up a fight, but I doubt he'll be much of a challenge for a strapping hunter like yourself. He's welcome to try. Don't worry. I'll be sure to see him into custody. We know where Carmelian is now. I'm ready to charge in, guns blazing. But first, I'm gonna pay my respect at Narshu's grave. Narshu. While burying the dead isn't a custom in Alexandria, Narshu and I were never comfortable with the whole regulator deal. I'd be damned if I was gonna forget, and put her to rest was my way of honoring her memory. Night Stallion been in the shop, so I'll head over and pick him up. Go on ahead and to the name slates, and I'll meet you there. Surprise, it's me again. Got a letter here for you from the detective. Going in guns blazing himself, isn't he? Right. That's my business. No time to go and pry into someone else's. Sorry for the change of plans, Drac'to, but I need to handle Carmelian myself. Hello. You helped me out time and again. I ain't gonna let you risk your life for my personal vendetta. I'm putting the Crime King in the ground, where he belongs. You just sit tight and wait for the good news. Drac'to! Hey, Drac'to! We've learned the most astonishing facts. The new research. The recruits of our gentle dead friend has spoken of a lady he had seen at the lowest level of the tiny cornucopus. A lady who could very well be Narshu. She lies unmoving within a capsule of some kind, looking at it as if she is dreaming in peaceful slumber. We then made at once for Carcelian's house to demand an answer from Kankia. The villain so soon folded beneath my expert interrogation and admitted to transferring Narshu's soul from her captive vessel into an oblong shell. Where's Detective Hardboiled, by the way? I want so badly to let him know his assistant's alive. Well, mostly. Seeking vengeance on his own, you say? This calls for an utmost haste. There goes the freak of nature. Wait for me, Inspector. We shall shamble along as well. Meanwhile, in the depths of Cornucopus, now that's a sickening sight. One blood-stained crimson crime king was already too much. I don't recall sending you an invitation hard-boiled. But no matter. I am afforded the chance to test my newfound strength. James might have called you handsome once, but you might wanna check the mirror. I am feeling a surge through me, with a nigh infinite power. Behold the majesty of the Lich. Let us begin with a demonstration of my ancestors' dominance over the undead. Great. This keeps getting creepier.
Do I get to play as him? That'd be funny. During the battle, you're fighting as Detective Hardboiled and gain the access to the special dodge action. Special dodge action? With the proper timing, you can use Molding Peloton and avoid taking damage even if you are within area of a monster enemy's attack. Oh, this is there. Certain enemy attacks will be preceded by a countdown, and when the countdown proceeds, the Molting Peloton icon quickly uses the Molting Peloton action.
This is getting old, real fast. Unliving minions tear that man apart.
No one can. The Mambo! The Mambo that captivates every undead soul! Let us remember to always comport ourselves in a gentlemanly manner, everyone.
What just happened?
Forcing our zombie brethren to act against their will is simply unconscionable. Whilst I do not condone violence, the situation seems beyond a peaceful resolution. Allow me to assist.
A soft-boiled savior in hell. Thanks, pal. You dare interfere, I'll kill both of you!
Defeat Carmeleon. Carmeleon?
Inconceivable! No mortal can withstand such power! Violence is not the answer. He's one tough egg. Hildibrand, give all the juice you got. Of course, detective. Our moment is coming.
This is the weirdest attack I've ever seen.
This one is for nourish you.
Hold your fire, detective. Your assistant is alive.
What did you say? I warned you for being soft, hard-boiled. And while you never learn, I'll wait to save such exquisite magecraft of more fitting victims, but now your clouds will witness the ultimate spell firsthand. With unholy power drawn for darkest abyss, I shall sever soul from corporeal anchor. Die!
Or is it death? I need to.
Death!
Inspector!
Hildibrand! Oh, I've died. How unmandivilly of me. I've stained the Boltons instead, though. Now I am glad to rid of most bothersome Gant. Is that Hildibrand's ghost? Such bittersweet sorrow. A soul should disperse soon after leaving the flesh. But a resilient zombie overload endures in spirit form? Hello, this battle isn't over. Even with your entire entourage of fools, you cannot comprehend our power combined.
Oh god, Hildibrand's becoming denser. He's becoming Super Manderville Man! A golden god! A glittering Master Zombiebrand's spiritual essence has merged with Master Hardboil's physical form. It's brilliant! It's blinding! It's a pure gold soul!
It changes nothing! Hard-boiled cannot be! Hard-boiled is not here right now. You can call me Hildibrand when your goose is cooked. My dear fellow. No evil shall stand against the giant golden Manderville Man! Yes. You have learned the truth of it. Your previous Nuarshu never really died. Eshkia needed a subject for his soul transference equipment and tasked of procuring a victim fell to me. Your name, Hard-Boiled, was on top of my hit list. I drew upon ancient and sorceries to cast you into a death-like sleep. Of an ease of delivery, you understand, but when your meddling assistant threw herself into the spell's path, I was supposed to settle for her instead. I had to dig up Narshu's corpse following the burial, and then prodded her to Keshkia in place of your sorry hide, so it was her soul ended up in the insect vessel. You bastard, you know how much I hated Oglops. Now, let us remain civil. The process is entirely reversible. Oh dear, my apologies. I feel the drawl of the irresistible force. Oh, that's right. Master Zombiebrand and this Zed, and his untethered soul comes to call. See you on the other side, my friends! Don't leave me behind, Inspector! Throw his body... Look, his body still breathes. We gotta drag the soft boy soul back. I smote that simpleton with enough ultimate death match to kill him 10 times over. There is no coming back.
Perform the Manderville! Do the dance!
Huh? Hey now, don't tell me you're gone and cracked.
Everybody, unite our power! Do the dance!
Oh, I say!
Oh.
Do I not know my friend well? Thanks to the stringent performance of my adventuring associate, I, Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, have returned to life and back on the case. Look at him! But you can't! It is not possible! Toughest guy I've ever seen. Now, what was that about fixing Nyarshu? You can really bring her back to normal? Your assistant's incumbent form is being held within this very facility. We need but extract her soul from the Oblak and reunite it with her original body. I had Keshikia provide me with a step-by-step procedure of operating the transference apropos. It should pose no great difficulty to restore Mistress Nyarshu ourselves. The rest of us shall wait at the entrance then.
Can he just melt? Isn't he a slime? Can't he just slide out of that? Or did they get like some kind of special... The inspector's unstoppable.
Even the ultimate death spell failed to slay him. Never mind those other fiends. Occult was the true monster. You know what? It stinks in here. Let's head outside.
Detective Hard-Boiled? Oh. A human form Noshu?
Yo, hey, Dollface, you look well.
Hug are you, idiot? Hi, I'm Narshu. Narshu. Thank you so much for putting me back in my own body. The resemblance to Nashu is, as you say, uncanny.
Right. Like 2 peas in a pod, I say. Now, oh my god, now there's 2 of them. Right. I've had my fill of a musty old lab. Time to blow this joint. Hey, who said you could ride the stallion?
Sure, one few fellas such as ourselves, those are above courtesy from cursory formalities such as asking for permission. Watch the lightning! The chassis can't the chassis can't take a direct hit! And he's gonna go blasting off again. Look at his mouth flop around. He's going 88 miles per hour. Because where he goes, he does not need roads. Wait for me, Inspector. He went blasting off again. Gosh, that's... look dangerous.
He'll be fine. It's Night Stallion I'm worried about. I just had him repaired. How did I lose to such a fool? Am I dreaming? Surely this is a nightmare. I'll deliver Mr. Lots of Clots here to the 10 men. You can head back with Narshu to my place in Solution 9. And I shall re-enter the facility to rescue from the remaining zombies. I bid you, gentle people, good day. Behind the rubbish receptacle is where I would hide and keep watch over the detective. It was surprisingly fun living as a Gwallop, but boy, am I glad to be back in my own body. That makes the two of us. Couldn't imagine having one of those crawlers as my assistant. Creepers, even. I went and handed Armelian over to the authorities. They restore him and all his monstrous pals to their original mook cell, and toss him in the slammer. In other words, that's all she wrote on the case of the fiendish fugitives. You're a handy fellow to have around, Drac'to. As thanks for sticking with me through thick and thin, I made you a replica of the Night Stallion. Don't have the same customizations, but it should run plenty fast. Use this key when you're ready to ride. I have a gift for you too, of sort. I made lots of friends when I was a Gwallop, and one of the little fellows had a big dream of traveling the world. Take him along on your adventures. He'll be fantastic company. Why not? My own Gwallop buddy. Look at you embracing danger. I told you those tiny devils are hellbringers of death and disease. Oh, there's no such thing. Gwallops are harmless. Not to mention cute as a chiseled button. Right, well, in your funeral, it's your funeral. Keep it where you can see it or show it away in your back. Dough, even. Speaking of companions, I wonder where the gentleman Flop and Noshu disappeared to. Not that I'm worried or anything, but I owe them a tip of the hat at the very least. Anyways, Narshu and me are gonna go back to running our detective agency here in Solution 9. Hopefully you'll cross paths again on some other occasion or case. Our time together in the great alleyways of life was brief but golden, like the richest, yellowest of yolk. See ya around, Drac'to. Isn't this your home hardboard? Shouldn't I be leaving? Let's go, Oggs. Augie? Oggs? Augie? Ogblong? With the completion of inconceivably further adventure, Hildibrand, you can now exchange MG for a new saucer. This trail has evaporated like mist in the neon haze the city carries on uncarried. I fell into a familiar humdrum rhythm, my world gone curiously quiet. It was an gnawing absence of irritating yet endearing whimsy, but that's life, ain't it? Nothing imperfect. Let me leave you with a few words of wisdom. It ain't no tough, it ain't no boiled enough, and sometimes a man needs to be gentle. Man. Who are you talking to, detective?
Dear Lord, human Noshu.
Well, that's that. Gently does it.
Alright, let's see. Do I get a title for this? I mean, they gave me an Orcussion roll, a minion, and a mount. Basically, the only thing they didn't give me is... God, it's that me. Ah. What the hell is that thing, anyways? Is it a gun? Yo, it looks like a gun. It has been 3 hours, and I think I'm gonna end it there. I was gonna do some of the Occult Crescent to do get more dispels, but I'm gonna just do that off stream. Alright. I shall return tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I might go back to one of the games I haven't finished. Because I want to, like, do one more game before I do XCOM 2. Alright. Thank you for watching, and if you can, like, subscribe. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever we're doing. Goodbye.